Hey guys, if you're new here, my name is Tuvas and I put together Gamepad focused content for Digital Combat Simulator or DCS. From tutorials to gameplay videos, my goal is to both help and show newcomers that you don't need an expensive HOTAS if all you want to do is try DCS. As long as you have an Xbox, PlayStation, or other gamepad lying around, you can pick that up, follow my tutorials, and be well on your way to learning how to fly your favorite aircraft. Now that said, what if you don't already have a gamepad? Or if you do, perhaps you're looking for a way to enhance your DCS experience even further, but without moving on from the portability and versatility of a gamepad. Well, I have news for you. I've spent the last couple months experimenting with a few different controllers and controller add-ons to improve the DCS gamepad experience. Anything from cheap add-ons to very expensive pro controllers, I think there's at least one thing on this list that you'll want to pick up. Also, full disclosure, I'm not sponsored by any of these brands, but if you want to support the channel and what I do, please feel free to use any of the affiliate links to all these devices in the description below. With that said, here are my top 5 controllers for starting or enhancing your DCS World gamepad experience. First up, in the number 5 spot, the Gulikit King Kong 2 Pro or Zen Pro at $69.99 USD. If you aren't aware, the King Kong 2 is one of the few gamepads available today with built-in Hall effect thumbsticks, meaning the sensors used to track axis movement will never wear out, and therefore will never experience the horror that is known as stick drift. On top of that, this controller features a gyro, which can be used to control the right stick for extra aiming precision, or in our case, mouse and camera control in DCS. But in my opinion, these two very attractive features, the gyro and the Hall effect thumbsticks, they both suffer from two very big problems. First, the gyro. While this can be toggled on, the only way to use it in X input mode is by holding the left trigger or left bumper. This can be worked around by switching to Nintendo Switch mode, but then you lose the analog triggers. This problem by itself wouldn't be so bad, but then comes the second problem, the Hall effect thumbsticks. While their design is great for passing this controller onto your grandkids, they do have a considerable amount of slop that is very apparent after turning off the built-in dead zone, which means you'll want to set a dead zone to avoid stick drift, which is kind of ironic considering these are Hall effect thumbsticks. Now, if you're looking for something a bit cheaper, look no further than the $30 to $40 third-party PowerA enhanced wired Xbox controller. This gamepad is based on the Xbox Core, or otherwise known as Series X and S controllers, which means it has access to an extra share button, something that is missing entirely from the previously mentioned King Kong 2. And in a game like DCS where every available button matters, this extra button is an incredibly valuable addition. On top of that, this relatively cheap controller even boasts pro-like rear buttons that can be set up to duplicate any existing face button, D-pad direction, shoulder button, or stick click. That said, the start, select, and share buttons are not programmable on these rear buttons, which is quite honestly pretty unfortunate. And add to that, the fact that this controller must be wired and is not wireless really keeps it at the number 4 spot for me. But overall, it's a solid pick and is a great, cheap option for any game on PC, not just DCS. That said, if you have $10 to $20 more in your budget, then my number 3 pick is the tried and true first-party Xbox Core wireless controller at $45 to $55 US. Sure, it doesn't have the pro-like rear buttons found on the PowerA enhanced controller, but being a popular first-party controller means there are a lot of third-party add-ons and accessories available for it. From cheap thumbstick extensions to both cheap and expensive rear button solutions, and even many keyboard attachments, it's your choice on what to do to transform your regular Xbox Core controller into an absolute monster of a gamepad. Of course, all these add-ons do come at a price. In particular, the Armor X Pro from Big One adds 4 rear buttons, a gyro for either left or right stick control, and even a rechargeable battery while still maintaining wireless capabilities. But because of all these features, the Armor X Pro add-on by itself costs as much as a PlayStation DualSense controller. Which brings me to my number 2 spot, the first-party PlayStation DualSense controller at around $70 US. If you don't mind the symmetrical layout of the buttons and sticks, then this controller has very nice features built in, like a gyro for motion control, additional digital buttons that double up with the analog triggers, and a touchpad for additional mappable actions that can be configured through Steam. And, just like the Xbox Core controller, the DualSense also has many third-party add-ons. From thumbstick caps and extensions to chat pads, there are several options to choose from. That said, unlike the Xbox Core controller, rear button add-ons are typically not as easy to install, requiring disassembly and soldering to get working. And finally, my number 1 recommended gamepad for DCS World, especially for newcomers, is the Syozen Z2 wireless mechanical controller by Sunwaytek at $45.99 USD. Being a very competitively priced gamepad, costing somewhere between the third-party PowerA controller and first-party Xbox Core controller, the Syozen Z2 features very pro-like additional buttons. But not only that, these additional buttons are actually extra shoulder buttons, whose placement, I think, is more suited for a game like DCS, since you can press them with your index fingers as if they were extra triggers. Oh, and just when you thought it couldn't get any better, this $46 gamepad even features a gyro with a dedicated button for toggling it on and off. Strangely, there is very little content covering this particular controller, and I'm pretty sure it's because it's very new, it's incredibly new. So for those interested, I'm planning on making a review video for the Syozen Z2 because there is even more to this controller than I've been able to mention. There's actually more to it. It's crazy. There you have it. That was my top 5 list of gamepads for DCS that are well suited for both newcomers and existing players. If you're interested in picking up any of the gamepads or add-ons mentioned in this video, please feel free to support the channel by clicking the affiliate links in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked this video, please leave a like, and if you really liked it and would like to see more of this kind of stuff, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And let me know in the comments if you had any questions or if there's anything you would like to see me cover next. Take care guys. Have a nice day.